Hey, Anthony, do you like my new shirt?
Sure, man. It's cool. Could have been better.
What was that?
I said it could have been better.
You want to fight about it?
Yeah, I do. Let's go, chump. Hold on a second. We don't need to fight.
We don't?
All you need to do is go to 86.com and choose from one of their many designs. Franchises range from Skullgirls to Street Fighter and even BlazBlue. And if you check out 86 through this Twitch channel, use 86.com/AFF=4 to let them know that Mission Star Podcast sent you.
We can give a big round of applause for our guests as they come up on the stage. This party. Right down here since I'm the closest to here, and I'll just pass this microphone down if you want to introduce yourselves.
My name is Eric Vale, I play Shigaraki.
My name is Colleen Kickenbeard, and I play Momo Yayorozu, and I direct the show.
Hey everybody, my name is David Matrenga, I play Todoroki.
Hi everyone, I'm Justin Breineret, and I play Deku.
I voice for 13.
Hi everybody, I'm Kristen McGuire and I play Nakagami.
Hi everybody, I'm Clifford Chapin and I voice Katsuki Bakugo.
Hi everybody, my name is Christopher Wakamp and I play your sensei, Shota Aizawa.
Brought in for you. Stay seated. Everybody will get something. Just stay calm, stay seated. But until then, we're gonna hang out with our friends over here. Sweet, right? So, hello. I'm very excited to be here with all of you. I guess we'll start with our first general question for everybody. We are now done with season 3. We're gonna go into season 4. When this crazy ride began, did you foresee My Hero having such an impact? And I can bring you a microphone. But if anybody needs an extra.
I actually knew that it was going to be a big show. In fact, going into it, there was a little bit of a, everybody kind of wanted that show to do, and I begged. And I was really happy to get to direct it, but even going into a show like that is supposed to be well received, or is supposed to have a lot of support behind the actual production of it, which you always hope for, you never know if it's going to go as well as planned. Because all it takes is for fans to decide, no, it's not as interesting as I thought it was going to be, and then season 1 tanks and then it's over. And instead, this has gotten more and more traction, and now we're to the point where I go to a convention and like half of the people I see are dressed up in some UA something. And it's really, really awesome to get to see that you guys love it as much as we do.
For anybody.
I feel like Colleen kind of covered it. As the director, she would know.
Yeah, great. This is for anybody who wants to answer, what do you think it is about this show that resonates with its wide variety of audience? What is it that resonates for everybody, you think?
Girl power.
Anybody else, what resonates?
Just go. It's just, you can tell right off the bat that it's something special. Right now, culturally, we're in kind of a superhero phase, if you haven't noticed. They're kind of a big deal right now. And I think my hero came in at the right time to get everyone hyped up about superheroes and superhuman society, but it cleverly subverts so many of those superhero tropes. Like, a lot of the time when you are watching a hero or reading a comic book, they're already established. The hero knows what they're doing, or they have a real quick 10-minute backstory, and there you go. In this one, you get to root for everybody, all these little fledgling heroes as they're growing up and learning and crafting these personas and identities and powers. So I think that's something, you know, heavily in the show's favor. That being said, even in this super heroic society they all inhabit, the stories being told are very real, they're very human. So getting to root for these kids growing up feels a lot like getting to root for yourselves in high school. And I think that's great. I think that it's awesome that people have these characters to root for and watch grow.
Yeah. Were any of you fans of any particular superhero from your childhood, like be it from comic books or like a movie hero? Was there any hero that resonated with you as a young person? Your favorite? She-Ra? Oh! Who's making a really good comeback right now. Go She-Ra. I personally am a big Captain America fan. Also, Sailor Moon was my jam. How many of you have been kissed by a rose on the grave? Anybody? Perfect. Sorry about that. We are figuring out our tech as far as that video clip is concerned. Are we still hanging out? Still hanging out. Whoosh! Ooh! Spoilers, it has whooshes in it. What is it about, and this is for everybody, anybody can answer, and let me know if you want this microphone. What is it about your character that personally resonates with you?
Mine's the best.
I was gonna say yours is the meanest.
Cliff, your character has the most room to grow.
Is that how you resonate with my character?
Yes, I'm rooting for you.
Aizawa mostly wants to sleep. If I wasn't here, guys, I'd probably be taking a nap, so... Yeah.
Nakagami is a bit of a fangirl, and I guess I, too, am a bit of a fangirl.
Yeah, does anybody else need this microphone? Yeah,
well, 13 is a space hero, and I find space very fascinating. Sort of.
Right, Morgan, you're an astronaut in your spare time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Deku's a great kid. And everyone likes him. So...
He's my little cinnamon bun!
Yeah. I didn't say that one. So I didn't have as rough of a childhood as so I'm not gonna say, I wanted to say like, yeah, no, that's my childhood and I can relate to it, but no, that's not it exactly. I think the thing that I can relate the most to in my own personal life, I mean, I do really connect with the character, but I think he's really hard on himself. For a lot of reasons. You know, you grow up with a father like that, you're trained to be, in a way, this hero from the beginning, a machine, a strategist, and I can relate to struggling with being a little bit too hard on myself, or, you know, wanting to make sure that everything is right, or it's the best it can be, and that can get exhausting. So, yeah, that's probably what I'd say. Cool.
Momo is a little bit more insecure than I am. But I do think that that type A, like straight A student personality where she expects things to kind of be a certain way and then is very confused when they don't turn out that way, I relate to that pretty well.
With Shigaraki, I too dislike most people and things.
And you're always periodically covered with other people's hands at any given moment.
I didn't typecast at all, in case you can't tell.
I mean, is it typecasting if you're the type? What? Oh, come on. Alright, I have been told that the video clip is working, so let's try it. Let's roll that beautiful
coming up that I didn't have any reference for in the Japanese, and then I waited to cast them until I did get to hear in the Japanese, so that was different. But I am curious from the actor's perspective how it. Eric doesn't remember that he auditioned, so we'll skip him. But he did audition for all of the characters, all of the male characters, and Shigaraki for a second.
Yeah, you know, this kind of combines one of the earlier questions as well, but we were sort of told that that it had the potential to be a big title. I remember, you know, getting an email from Colleen about, you know, auditioning for this. And at the time, I was just coming in for an audition like any other audition. And then when I got there, she kind of gave me a briefing on, okay, so this could be this, you know, this might go for a little bit. You know, I mean, we didn't want to jinx anything because, like Colleen said, you know, you never know. A first season can come out and it doesn't hit the way it was supposed to. I'm grateful and so excited that, that this is where it is. But yeah, there was that added sort of, when you hear that as an actor, all of a sudden, even if you weren't, all of a sudden you're just uber invested. Like I was like, oh, well, okay, now I really want this, right? So I was even more nervous. And you know, auditions are fast and furious. Like you go in and you get you watch the preview of something, you get a shot at it. If you're lucky, Colleen will give you, or the director will give you an adjustment, and you have a chance to make that adjustment, whatever that is. And that's kind of how this went down. I read for All Might, for Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki. I think that was all I read for. Aizawa, yeah. And you know, as you're there, it's like all those characters are so amazing and they're so well crafted, and it's like, I would love any of these, right? But yeah. And you don't, that's my point exactly. Yeah, you don't know who to want. You're like, oh, well, I guess I can't play all these. But, you know, you kind of want all of it, which is just kind of a natural thing, I think. But yeah, it was, I was more nervous for this than I am for a lot of auditions in general, because I did really, really want it. So, yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah, like everyone's been saying pretty much, is that there were nerves involved. I went ahead and watched the first episode, read a couple chapters of the manga just to get acclimated with the characters, see where the story was headed. But actually, I was it was strange because Colleen was the only director as of then that I'd never worked with at Funimation. So I really went in, she didn't know me from Sam, and...
Poor Sam.
Sam
almost got the part.
Sam was runner-up. You could call him in any time still, right? Yeah, I'm still auditioning. So yeah, I sort of, you know, I auditioned for nearly every male student that they had. I think I passed on All Might. But like Chris, have his fun. Yeah, and I wanted to be involved in some capacity, and I sort of identified that Deku was the closest to my wheelhouse. You know, that's where my voice sat most comfortably. But I didn't want to get my hopes up for anything because it just seemed very special.
I actually didn't audition, so I don't know what that process was. So I don't know. So I'm just gonna pass on to you.
I did audition. I felt like it was a really big opportunity at the time because I had only been at Funimation for just a couple of years, and I didn't have the reputation or the experience that a lot of these fine folks have. But I had done a lot of workshops and training and private coaching, so I felt like I was ready for the opportunity. I hadn't seen anything about the show, but I did know it was a big deal. I read for all the female characters and one boy. And it was a really good process. Colleen was really easy to audition for. She made me feel very comfortable in the booth. And so to me, it was a really good opportunity to play and show my range and show what I could do. And it was like, if you book something, you book something, and if you don't, you don't. And then you just kind of have to forget about it. But it wasn't as nerve-wracking as I initially thought it was going to be when I auditioned for it, thanks to Colleen. So yeah, that was my experience.
Here's where Colleen slips a 20. The way that I remember the auditions for My Hero going is we were a few seasons into the simuldubs. We had been doing about we'd done them for about a year or so at that point, or a little bit more, and we had been doing a bunch. We'd been doing like 12 shows, 16 shows a season, and then the My Hero season came, and there were like 6. The number of shows was much lower that season, and actors had gotten very comfortable with like, oh, simuldubs are here, and I'm getting cast in all these shows, and I'm making so much money, I'm living as an actor! And then there were 6 shows, and they all went, oh God! And they all panicked, and all the actors were freaking out. That's what I remember, and I remember that because I was also directing various shows at the time. And so everybody was panicking and nervous and freaking out about this because they wanted to be in it. They were hearing that it was a big show, and so they wanted to be a part of it, especially because of that, and they were afraid there was going to be no work. And so I, much like Justin, I had watched the first like 2 episodes or so were out, I think, at that time, and I remember watching the first episode and thinking, oh, that's going to be Justin Briner. That is going to be Justin Briner. I had complete faith that Justin was going to get Deku. And so I was like, well, odds are probably not in my favor that I'm going to get Deku because I feel like it's going to be Justin. I'm still going to read for Deku, but I'm really going to bank on the Bakugo audition to be the rival. And so I actually kind of tried to condition my audition to sound good against Justin. So I 100% believe that Justin's why I'm Bakugo.
So what I like to say is, and I always take this as a compliment, I want to hear it from others, is that Eraserhead got beat up so badly in season 1 that in season 2 he had a different voice actor. That's how badly he got beat up. A lot of people don't know that I am not the voice of Eraserhead from season 1. There was actually a different actor, a guy named Alex Organ, who's an amazing actor. He ended up taking a role as a theater director for a very prominent theater in Dallas. So when he had to make this terrible decision to leave this behind for this other great opportunity, Colleen held some auditions for people to replace Alex. And it was the first time I'd ever worked with Colleen. So coming into the studio for that, I had already watched season 1 of My Hero Academia. I was already a fan. And I was like, man, this Eraserhead guy just sleeps in the middle of his class. This is like the coolest character by a mile. So I was already very into it. And I just remember the audition process was, this was one that you would go into it very hopeful, but also recognize that this is like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. The odds of getting it extremely low. So in some ways that takes the pressure off in a weird kind of way, because you're just like, oh, well, I'm not going to get this, so I'll just go in and be very relaxed. And I just remember trying to, voice match Alex as best I could, and then kind of trying a little bit of variation afterward. And the way that we typically get contacted by Funimation when it's time to come in and record is, if you have an agent or if you don't, they typically have a casting director that'll say, hey, are you available, Thursday at 2 p.m.? And there's not always a lot of information with that. It's just, are you available, right? You may not know what you're doing until you actually get there. So that was the case. And I was like, well, I'm in 2 other shows right now. This is probably not that. I'm going to go in on a Tuesday or whatever day it was. And I remember going into a lobby and looking at the list and seeing Colleen's name, and I was just like, all right, be cool. All Okay, just be very cool. Just be very, this is fine. Everything's fine. Everything's gonna be fine. So I was like, my whole goal was to just get through that. Once I realized, like, oh my God, I think I got it. My whole goal was just to try to get through the whole thing without, freaking. Yeah, without losing, without freaking out. And I did. I don't think I freaked out, Colleen. Do you remember me freaking out?
No, you were always so chill. You never look even excited. Like,
acting.
I was like, do you even care? I've never told you this, Chris, but you actually, like, I had already cast somebody else in my mind as Aizawa, and then you came in and read. And I was like, oh.
Now my head's getting way too big right now. So anyway, that was it. Thanks, guys.
So with the Summel Dub aspect, I think, Colleen, you could probably answer this question the best. I know that for when they started recasting English voices for like Sailor Moon for Viz, I know the creator, Nako Takuchi, she had kind of a hand in picking that English cast. Did the creator of My Hero give any feedback for who he thought was best for the English?
Thankfully, Toho's been really hands-off for this whole property.
Yeah.
It's been, I think that comes with trust. Some of the previous projects that have involved a lot of the licensor having a hand in the casting have been because maybe Funimation hadn't yet been tried and true. But now they know that we can handle a dub. They know that we have fans who know what to expect from Funimation. And so I like to believe that that is the reason that they're no longer really doing much of the approvals. And which is a good thing, really, because the English-speaking ear hears the voices differently than the Japanese-speaking ear, and so when we send in the auditions, sometimes they will choose somebody who might not be the optimal choice for that role to an English-speaking audience, and they didn't. We just got to do what we wanted.
To that point, not having anything to do with this show, but one time, some of the feedback from Japan was that I needed to sound thinner.
We don't hear that.
I think Sabbath.
Sabbath said that.
But he was confused too. He was like, I don't know how you sound thinner.
Tough direction. That's tough direction to take. I've always said, I just think Colleen did an amazing job of casting this show.
Let's give her a hand.
Casting is 95% of the equation. When you cast correctly, it's easier for things to gel, for things to fall into place. And I, as I've gone back and watched it, I watch it with a critical eye, a critical ear, and I really think it really, really works from that perspective. So I just wanted to say that out loud.
For our friends that are trickling in the back, and for everybody here, just a reminder, if you leave during the panel at all, that is okay, but if you don't come back by the time the panel is over, we have that signing afterwards, you won't be let back in for the signing. So just notes for everybody who's trickling in now, and who has also been hanging out with us. You can take your bathroom breaks all you need to, but if you don't come back before the panel is over, no re-entry, so sorry. Just want to bring that up. But to get back to our nice panel, I want to pose a question to my ladies of the panel. Oh yeah. We mentioned girl power earlier, and that is fantastic because I actually wanted to talk about that with you. For I think a lot of us, back in the day, like if there was a hero show, you had like your token girl, and she was there to represent all girlhood as it was on the planet. How is it for y'all being part of such a nice, diverse cast of really well-rounded, interesting ladies?
I wanted to say that when I saw Nakagame's character design, I was really relieved that she was wearing pants. I was just like, she's wearing pants! Like, this is such a great costume. It's like a jumpsuit. It seems like a good costume to wear, like fighting crime, And I think that's one of my favorite things about like My Heroes. The costumes seem a little more practical for fighting crime. And I like how diverse the powers are and things like that. Everyone has different power levels. I like that the power levels have like good effects and bad effects, so there's no like OP. So I guess to me that's the best part of My Hero Academia. It's just like, this seems like a good place for women. This seems awesome. We can wear pants and fight crime. Fight crime, you guys. So that was my thought on it.
I kind of wish that, like, Shimura was still around, because I do think that there is a lack of, like, that one female hero who is the Todoroki or the All Might or the, like, just confident, has the power, nobody questions it, gets the job done, isn't questioning herself all the time, isn't scantily clad. Like, I really liked Shimura and All Might's progenitor, and I would like to have her around, so I am hoping for that in the future.
Or you want to add in? Oh, okay. On that other token, for my boys of the panel, this show I feel is very interesting in the way that boy characters are portrayed, and it's something that's happening a lot more in media, is that you're getting kind of what we like to call our soft boy protagonists. The male protagonists that, like, are not afraid to be emotional, they're not afraid to love their friends. They're not jerks. It's very true.
Most of them aren't.
Honestly, though, Clifford, I would argue that Bakugo is in his own way a soft boy. David, what do you think?
Well, he's just dripping in toxic masculinity.
Toxic?
Explosive.
Nitroglycerin.
Nitroglycerin.
But for my male friends on the panel, do you feel it is important that we are having this moment now in pop culture where all of these soft boys are coming in and being portrayed?
Yeah, so I'll say that I feel like Aizawa was easy because we still don't know a lot about his inner life, I suppose. There's still a lot of questions that are out there about, what is he doing in his downtime, for example. Now, I know that part of the reason why he's so tired all the time is because he's out at night beating up criminals, and stopping crime, and then he goes and quote-unquote teaches class during the day. So that's why he's so tired. But, my hero does a good job of presenting an ensemble cast in a way that makes you ask questions about all the characters that it presents. They seem to be fully formed. You don't come away from it feeling like that they are cookie cutters, and you don't feel like they're two-dimensional. So when a show does that well, it's intriguing because it opens up the door, as you said, for characters of every type within the show to have a rich inner life. And I do hope in future that, part of what the plan is going to be is that we're going to get to see, more about my character and many others. I have so many questions about the characters in this show, so I want to learn more about that.
Honestly, I feel like they have to, especially now with the state that All Might's in. I would assume that Aizawa has to become more prevalent because, All Might can't. Die. Yeah, right. Somebody.
That got dark.
Yeah, I think the soft boy thing it's a positive movement. It's a good movement because every person has a vulnerable moment. No matter what we're doing in life, whether we're in school or working or whatnot, we all get overwhelmed. And so to have that thing to relate to is even my heroes, even my characters that I equate to or I relate to, they have those softer moments and those vulnerable moments. That's important because, it reminds us that there is a way out, that there is a time after this. That's the point of the story, is to see the character go through that and progress beyond it. And that's important. It's important to see our heroes struggle to become better, because when they do that, it reminds us that we can do it ourselves.
This is a huge question, I think, especially with the time that we're in right now, and I have a lot of strong feelings on toxic masculinity in general. Even this isn't an attack, but even to say soft boy, it implies that there's something soft about being vulnerable or about being, not fitting into what men are socialized to be. And you know, there are definitely struggles on both sides of the gender equation, but I think a lot of the problems that we have in the world today are from the fact that boys from a young age are not allowed to be, you know, to have feelings, and that's a sign of weakness and all this stuff. It's compounded so much to a point where stuff comes out sideways. And we're currently now seeing that stuff has been coming out sideways for a long time, and women have had to deal with that. And, you know, that's not to say that there aren't things that are, you know, I mean, there are people out there that do bad things, and that I'm not apologizing for that, but or softening that in some way. There's that word soft again. So I think it's great, these characters, these boys, men, that they do have an inner life, that they are, what's really interesting about all these characters, and Justin kind of talked about it when we were talking about what makes this show so interesting, is that they are all really dealing with something. This something that's deep, that's from some trauma or that they're trying to overcome. Even the ones that, you know, the people that got in on recommendation, even the person that didn't have a quirk to begin with, you know, they're trying to overcome some struggle and to fully realize who they are. And I mean, at the end of the day, like, kind of that's what we're all doing in some way. So I think it's really relatable that way. And I hope that we can move forward for, like, the sake of, like, you know, the next 50 years, that boys are allowed to just be who they are and not have to put on some type of front in order to, you know, exist.
Yeah, like that this will be the way we portray male characters, no matter what.
Yeah.
I agree with all of that. And I think you're right, like, why the word soft, like, it's just a person. that's the boy, the man. And I think it's important in this show that the #1 hero and his successor are the ones who have the emotional life and have feelings, have good relationships with their family and friends, and are kind, and that's the person that you're supposed to try to be. And then the people who are more shut down and have more have an inability to access those emotions properly are the people that you kind of go, oh, well, if you could do that, you could be so much more. We can't wait to see how that comes out. And so, I mean, it is valuable to see that, and our hero didn't even have the power in the first place. He gained it through his sense of self, through his ability to care for people. So yeah, that's how you become a fully fledged human being.
Yeah. Feel your feelings, it's good. Obviously. For Clip, since we kind of touched on Bakugo a little bit, Bakugo's really fun because there's a lot of moments in the show, it seems like, where there could have been a moment where it took a turn, but obviously it didn't do that. Did you ever have a moment where you thought, oh, this is it, this is where I've become the bad guy?
No. Bakugo's gonna be #1 hero.
Great, good to know. All right. Well, it does seem like this show is really good at just kind of circumventing all of the would-be tropes of where you think characters are going to go. Do you think that that's part of, this is for everybody, do you think that's part of also what makes it so unique and so fun for everybody, is that when you think, oh, this is the moment, and then it doesn't go there?
Yes. Bakugo's going to be #1 hero. Yeah, actually, this is something I've talked about on several panels and other sorts of interviews and stuff, is that is what I think makes my hero so great, is the turn. The thing that you expect is not the thing that happens. The sports festival is a perfect example of that. Because how many shonen anime have we all seen that have a tournament arc? Oh, all of them, right? So, and the tournament arc is always this incredible thing, and it'll be like 1 million episodes long, and the final battle's like crazy, and then the ring gets destroyed, and the moon's blown up, and you know, the teacher has died, and like there's all these sorts of things, right? Like all these things happen all of the time in shonen anime tournament arcs. And so when you get to the one in My Hero Academia, that it ends with Bakugo versus Todoroki, and then that fight is so disappointing. Like, and it's not disappointing in like a bad way, but it's disappointing in the fact that you want to see Bakugo and Todoroki throw down. You want to see these incredibly powerful teenagers just like unleash everything and see what they're really capable of. And it doesn't happen. You know, and it's taken away from the audience, it's taken away from the characters. Like, nobody leaves the tournament arc happy with it. You know what I mean? Todoroki's not happy when he relinquishes the fight. Bakugo's not happy when he wins the fight. You know? Like, and nobody in the audience who watched it, like, either a part of the show or as you guys watching it on your TVs or anything like that, you guys did not get the fight that you expected. And that's beautiful. The incredible design of this series. So, I 100% think that. Yes.
I think that this show does a really good job of depicting realistic failure and struggle. So, and that kind of speaks to that, is that, you know, people don't always get what they desire, and you see them desiring it so desperately and what they want. And it doesn't happen the way that they hoped it would. I mean, I think about Todoroki from the sports festival and then into provisional licensing and all, you know, like, things don't, I mean, I don't think that he thought this would go this way as he entered UA on recommendation and knew he was already highly trained and all of that stuff. And that's beautiful, right? That crafts us into who we are. And so I completely echo what Cliff just said. I also think it's interesting that the way that the villains are depicted. You know, good superhero, good hero, they always have villains that have full lives as well. But to me, there's something really interesting in the anti-hero point of view. And it's really strong and really something that if you're inclined, you can really get behind. I mean, Stain's sort of worldview is really, really interesting. Especially in today's world of, you know, get to the top with power and greed as much as you can. And that sort of anti-hero view in this show is really, really interesting to me. I just brought up my own topic of anti-hero.
Oh, great, thank you. I think we should take a moment. There's so many great My Hero cosplays out there. If anybody dressed as a My Hero character would mind standing up just so we can look at you. Give you a big round of applause. From our lovely audience, is there anything?
I wanted to say, this is my first time to Ontario, and my expectations were a little bit low, because for a minute there I thought I was going to Canada, and that's... Okay. I asked for a scarf for Christmas, for example, because literally I thought I was going... Anyway, I'm so... Yes. I'm so glad that I turned out coming to California instead. You guys have been so awesome this week. Give yourselves a round of applause.
I too thought we were going to Canada, and I told my parents, and I was like, I'm going to Canada! And then I was like, but I'm not.
Alright, well, we are going to start turning it over to our fans for some questions. Do I have anybody staff-wise that's on this floor doing that, or is that me? Just checking. It's me. Great. Alright, here we go. I'll get my steps in today. Alright, hold on 1 second. I'm coming. No, I'd rather you didn't. I'd rather you didn't do that. Alright.
this is a question for all the cast members, but particularly for Justin, regarding the character Deku. In the beginning, when I introduced this at My Hero Academia anime to a lot of my friends who haven't seen before, some complained that he was like way too much wimpy and whiny. I thought he was fine in this situation, understandable considering that his childhood bully had explosion powers that had no issue of using it on him. My personal opinion is that when you guys first, read a manga, watched the show or whatever, do you think Deku was like way too whiny or wimpy, or do you think it was just fine in your personal opinion?
Yeah, this returns to our issue of softness. It's what's confused, I think, with vulnerability and most importantly, emotional literacy. What really struck me about Deku and the people who interact with him and his friends, they never portrayed his emotional outbursts as a weakness. His crying never gets in the way of a fight. He's often crying out of joy. So I think that this expressiveness is sometimes wrongly construed as wimpiness or crybaby. When really he's in touch with his emotions and he's able to access them.
Yeah, he's really emotionally intelligent. Like he's got a high EQ.
I just think that Deku was really awesome in the sports festival, and I would like his autograph.
Let's line up. Can we line up? Can we line up questions?
Oh, yeah,
so that way you don't have to run all over the place. Yeah. So if you have a question, line up in the center row.
That's why Colleen gets to be director, because she's smart and she thinks of these things.
So much for those snacks.
No. Now I have to go to the gym. Thank you, Colleen. Alright, careful, 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 careful. Don't step on each other. Hi, your name and your question.
Hi, my name is Irene, and my question is for all the cast. If your character was to compete on The Amazing Race, who would be your partner?
If our characters competed on Amazing Race?
Like who would we partner with from the show? Like, yeah.
We were Rocco.
Okay.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Oh, and why?
Froggy.
Just float and explode. That's the plan. Float and explode.
Froggy for sure.
Woo. Yeah.
Because she has all the powers of a frog.
So you could like hop on her back and you jump to your destination, or
she can help me traverse different
She
biomes.
just likes Froppy.
She can jump and you can do the aerial smash that All Might did and broke your spine. That one.
I'm gonna go. I would choose Deku. I would choose a gecko. He already helped me find my fireside, you know.
wait, can I make Kurogiri good for a minute? Sure.
Then we just watched.
Hi, your name and your question?
Hi, my name's Jake.
Hi, Jake.
Hello. So if you could voice a character of the opposite gender, so if you voice a male character, if you could voice a female, all that kind of stuff, regardless of if it would be funny or you would actually try and take it seriously, who would you voice? And this is for everyone.
And why? I'm adding and why.
I would be Bakugame. It's like a male version of Nakagame, but like our hair's still similar, so that's cool. I think that's how I would do that. Yeah.
13 is androgynous, so I feel like I get the best of both worlds.
I would want to be Toga. His life. He wants to be Froppy. I don't think I have what it takes.
I would voice what's the nurse's name? That's who I would be. Recovery girl. That's who I would be. Yeah, she's amazing.
She's news for everyone.
Oh God, I can't believe you did this again.
voice a character of the opposite gender, I'd pick Minetta.
It's a very Bakugo response.
Who was the girl who had like weeds growing out of her hair?
Ibarra.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but I like her a lot. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, yes. Dr. Flynn, thank you for your question. Hi, your name and your question.
I am Jellica, and I have a quick question for Clifford first. Do you like carry like
A vial of...
no cough drops with you to the studio or something? Because you yell a lot.
I should.
And then my question for the panel is: could you give us your favorite line to record?
I got one. Midoriya. That's not it.
Oh, sorry.
Midoriya, what are you, All Might's love child?
Anybody else have a favorite?
Now move it, extras.
Mine is, no. Okay.
Anybody else?
Going drugs?
I don't have a favorite Momo line yet. The United States of Smash is just an awesome line.
Sure, yeah. 10 out of 10 would recommend for sure.
Oh, or the line right after it. The mental line that I'm not going to spoil for anyone.
Well, thank you so much for your question. Hello, come forward. Your name, your question.
My name is James, and I have two questions for Justin and Colleen. For Justin, my question is, how does it feel to be voicing Deku, like, you know, him being this being a shonen anime? How does it feel like voicing a shonen character who's going to be up there, who already is up there with other famous shonen characters like Goku, Naruto, Luffy, Ichigo? How does that feel? Like, is it overwhelming? And my calling for Colleen is, or no, you go.
The answer is yes. The answer is the more that I think about it, the more horrified and anxious I get. So I'm just going with the flow for now, and I'm glad that people enjoy it.
Awesome.
You got a question for Colleen, right?
Yes, I did. Colleen, I know I know you said that you also looked ahead before casting and everything. You read the manga to get some info to get your idea, get ideas who to cast. So I was wondering, for the manga, for upcoming season 4, have you already casted or have any idea who you're going to cast as? You can't say that?
Well, no, just be careful. Don't
Yeah.
spoil that.
Yes. Characters. We're leaving in no names?
It's okay. I don't mind names. Just don't,
I was just going to ask if you had any idea who you were going to cast as the Overhaul and Batgum.
Well, Overhaul's already cast, because you've heard him already. In season 3, you got to hear a little bit of him, so that's Kellen Goff. And back here in LA. And Fatgum, I do not. I'm gonna wait. I'll get auditions, and I'm gonna wait until I hear the Japanese to make any decisions one way or the other about that one. But I do have plans for other characters. What I tried to do, because I haven't heard it yet, and I do want it to be representative of where they go. I try to go with, like, I know that it's going to be somewhere in this zone, so these are my main people that I'm going to have audition, and I'll send them audition sides, and then when I hear the Japanese, I'll pick the one that sounds the best with that. So, like, Eri, like, I know generally what gender and size she needs to sound like, but, yeah.
Do you often refer back to the Japanese voices when you're making your, like, that's your go-to for sure?
I do. I will say that there are times when I feel like it isn't completely solid, and I think that it could sound slightly different. Now you're Eric Bale!
Yeah, you're official now, Eric.
I exist!
Eric Bale, everybody.
He'll be right back. So there are times when I stray just a little bit. I haven't actually had one of those moments in My Hero yet, but it happened in like Full Metal Alchemist, and I'm sure it will happen in My Hero, where it's just that voice doesn't seem to match what we would hear in an English-speaking audience, and so I'll stray a little bit on those. But I try to keep it pretty real.
Thank you. For your question.
Real quick, before you guys, no, I'm sorry, not for you. You're free. I just want to ask if the people in the line could pick one question, because there's a lot of people, and I want to make sure we can try to get everybody.
For sure.
So.
All right. You got a bonus question. Good. All right. One question. Your name and your question.
Hi, my name is Lee.
Hi,
I
Lee.
love all you guys. My question is, who is your favorite character in the show that can't be yourself, for all of you?
Lane.
Cliff can't answer that
I was
question.
just about to say, I think it was specifically for Cliff.
I really love Ida.
Todoroki, 100%. Todoroki is actually my favorite anime character.
I'm always nervous when I record with her because the expectations are huge. She's like, you just don't have it today. We're canceling it.
I love Shinso. That's my
I really like Miss Joke, because I think she's really funny, and she always sounds happy. So.
Alright, boys. I like Toga.
I thought you liked
I'm into Aizawa lately. Yeah, I'm digging him.
Oh, sorry.
Clay, are you abstaining?
I don't know. I mean, my first three favorite characters are Bakugo, Katsuki, and Kachan. Shortly after by King Explosion Murder, Lord Explosion Murder, Baku Hatsuo. Bakugo's mom probably is seventh.
You can step forward. Thank you, I appreciate it. Hello, your name and your question.
My name's Ashley. Because the openings of each arc are different, what is your favorite like song opening animation?
I ask that all the time, and I don't really answer.
Season 3, because Nakagame's in it.
Season 3, Part 2.
Part 2 specifically, just throw that out there.
You're the musical person.
Yeah.
I've done quite a few English covers of the opening and ending songs, because I love all of them. But if I had to choose, I think Heroes. Yeah, that's the one.
Is that the
I believe that's the ending for the first season. Am I correct in that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I love that one.
I really like the internal music of the show. Like, I prefer that actually to the openings and the endings. I think the composition for the show in general, like what you hear, All For One's music come on,
Yes.
you know he's coming. You know, I think the themes in it are beautiful, and we got to meet the composer in LA. Where were we? We were at AX. And we got to meet the composer, and like he gave me a CD of the music, and he was awesome. I didn't get to talk to him as much as I would have liked, but it was. I think that was more. I was more starstruck at that than at meeting anybody else.
I like the first opening the best, personally. I also like that one song, it's an insert song that totally has an F-bomb in it. Do you guys know the one I'm talking about? It plays like in the tournament arc. There's like, be a bleeping superstar or something like that. I was just like, whoa! Because I remember hearing it being like, what? So, yeah.
I like season 1, the opening of season 1.
The day or...
The day. Yeah. The day. Yeah. Chris, you like season 1?
Yeah, opening to season 1.
Let me know if you want this. I'll bring it to
The
you.
opening to season 1!
Alright. Thank you so much. Hi, your name and your question.
Hi, my name is Haji, and my question for you guys is I noticed that this show is different from the conventional way that other shows approach it. How do you feel about the way they use romance in the show, or what direction it's going in?
I like a lot of. I think I like all of the pairings. that they seem to be hinting at. There are some that I'd like to show up. There are little ones that I wonder if we're in the creator's mind just a little bit. Does Froppy have a crush on Ochako? I wonder.
Don't deny her, Justin.
And that's not to say, like, I love Izuku and Ochako, so I'm not taken away from that, but I wonder if that exists, and if so, I like it. But yeah, I like the pairings. I like Momo and Todoroki together. I hope that happens. I would like to see All Might have some kind of something.
Well, some.
Okay, I mean, I have quite a few ships, but I think one of my favorites is Kirishima and Bakugo. I love them together.
What Lucy says? I don't remember.
Lucy ships Bakugo and Valiant.
Oh, that's right, yes. In Justin ships Bakugo with therapy. Yeah.
Miss Joke and Aizawa. I think he needs it.
He needs a lot of things.
Maybe Bakugo and Todoroki will connect over therapy. Yeah.
I will say that the show does a really interesting job of pairing up opposites. Like, if there's a philosophy, it's definitely like opposites seem to attract. And I love this strange, deep, on the surface of it makes no sense, comradeship between Aizawa and President Mike. Maybe there's a lot more happening. I don't know. I just know that they seem like the two most polar opposite people on the planet, but yet they're best friends, so it's confusing.
Thank you so much for your question. Hi, friend, your name and your question. Hello, I'm Jessica. I asked a similar question at Justin's panel, but I wanted to get everyone's take on it. If My Hero Academia was a musical, what music genre would each of your characters sing in?
What music genre would our characters sing in?
Ooh, is that like music genre as far as like maybe like opera or pop or rock and roll, or does that have to do with even, could we go as far as to say like musical composers like Sondheim or Schwartz or?
We can do it all.
You do it all. All right, great.
I would say Aizawa would be a huge Nirvana fan. I think, and then in his softer moments, he would really love My Bloody Valentine, probably a lot. And I think in general, grunge would be his aesthetic.
I think if Bakugo were to do any sort of music, he would do pop rock. He would be a boy band, him and Kirishima. Bakugo brings the pop, Kirishima brings the rock.
Knowing what I know about Nakagame and how she seems to fangirl everything, she'd probably just do covers of other people singing, so that would be her style, that would be her genre. So.
Like a jukebox.
Yeah. For 13, maybe dubstep? I don't know. That's my...
We've already been through this. We expounded a long time yesterday. But now my answer for today is lo-fi study beats.
I think Todoroki listens to a lot of meditation music.
I mean, Momo is straight up musical theater all the way. Like, she's just the ballad. She's the one who's singing in the background as the other characters are doing things and she's just emoting. But I think that it would be fun to see the League of Villains in like a Sweeney Todd-esque.
That was great.
Or a Fosse. Shake it up a little, make it Fosse. Thank you for your question. Hi, Brian, your name and your question.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Elena, and my question for all of you is, if there could be a crossover episode in My Hero with any other anime, which one would you choose? or any other show, I guess.
I think it would be fun to see either One Piece or Fairy Tail, but specifically Fairy Tail, because I think all of the UA people would get so into the Fairy Tail Guild. Like, they would all have their person, they're like, that is the coolest person ever, and Momo and Urza would completely get along, and maybe Urza would give Momo some confidence.
I have a question. Can we suspend our disbelief for a minute, and can we, is the Justice League an anime? I really want Aizawa and Batman to meet each other.
There was that Batman Ninja just recently, so totally counts, totally counts. I'm gonna say Attack on Titan.
I would really like to see a crossover with Love Live. And I would like everyone to be idols and be coordinated dancing and singing. That'd be great.
I was gonna say a Titan too, but then I was like, you know, My Hero Academia is about hope and overcoming struggle. I don't want to drop those people into pure anxiety and horror. So that's what yeah.
Justin. I say One Piece. Because of the spirit of adventure.
Thank you so much. Hi, your name, your question. Hi, my name is Amy. Good to see you guys. Hi. All right. Hi. You still remember from CR Expo?
Of course I do.
Aw,
You got
thanks.
on the stage with us.
Yeah.
Amy, you guys don't know this, is a secret cast member of My Hero Academia. That's true.
I was also directed by Colleen, so I kind of got the experience that all you guys had. So my question was, you guys get asked all the time, like, what your quirk would be, but if you were a hero, where would your base of operations be? Are we covering just real world places, or can we say fictional places too? Can we open it up to there too? Fictional places, just be fun. All right, fictional places only is the criteria.
I'm going to give you two answers. You can choose which one you like the best. Because I've thought about this. When I was watching the whole battle with Stain in the alley, I was like, ooh, Aizawa would really love to live in this alley. There's a dumpster over there. That would be so warm in the wintertime. Like, it would be probably just a nondescript alley if we're really honest with ourselves. Be honest with you. Listen to your heart. It would be an alley. Right? But maybe my better answer is, I think it would be a secret basement underneath a cat cafe. That's probably the better answer.
I feel like if Bakugo had a secret base, it would be like in a volcano. Like anywhere you could really just have a sweat going before he deploys. Like that's it. I'm sticking with it.
So like a fire dungeon in Mario?
Yeah. Or Bowser's Castle. Yeah.
I feel like if Nakagame had a secret base, it'd just be like wherever Todoroki and everybody else she really admires is. So like wherever they hang out, she's like, this is where my base is today. Todoroki's closet. Sweet.
So 13 would be in space. But specifically, I like to think that they would be in Voltron. Because I'm a huge Voltron fan, so I'd like to say that they spend their time in Voltron.
I think Deku would want to hang out with his friends, so I'll just be in the next volcano over.
I think Todoroki's gonna just set up a desk right next to Endeavor. Just to study him, you know?
And I'll be underneath your desk.
Clearly.
Whoa! I didn't mean it like that!
That went a little sideways on it.
No, you guys are so pervy!
I didn't even think of that one. No.
All right, Lewinsky, if you're done. Herod's tea room. Like the Russian tea room, she's just gonna be set up having tea, and I don't see why she would do anything else. And I want to twist it and say, well, where would your secret hideout be as a villain?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a hero.
I'm not. You guys forget.
I mean, I'm a hero in real life. But I save cats and babies every day. It would be the Temple of Doom.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Hi, hello. Your name, your question.
Hi, my name is Amber. First off, I want to say I absolutely adore all of you, and I'm super excited to be here. My question is more so posed towards Colleen and Morgan if she'd like to answer. I'm not sure in the Japanese, because I haven't watched it, if 13 also has a female voice, but I know in the manga they do use he, him pronouns. I do know that 13 is androgynous, so I was wondering why you went with a female voice, because Morgan is absolutely amazing as 13.
You actually hit on one of those things that happens with a simuldub, with a show where we haven't seen through the end. I have no idea if we ever meet who is inside the suit. I will say that in the actual translation and not the manga that is adapted for English, in the actual translation there are no genders revealed. So it was completely neutral, and so I asked for a recommendation from the Japanese licensor. I was like, which direction should I cast? And don't take that to mean that it's a female, it's just they think that a female voice would be best for the role. So they did not, by the way, answer whether it was a male or a female. They just told me that I should cast a female.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. All right, hi. I'm Johnny's, and this question is for Clifford, because when I met you, I cried. So, it reminded me of the question of when Bakugo and Deku were kind of going at it after All Might's last fight. So, was it hard to transition into Bakugo being sort of a weak state of mind, breaking down and blaming himself?
Not really, because I feel like, especially by now and so late into season 3 and stuff, that I'm pretty in tune with Bakugo, and so like I feel like I have a good understanding of him. It might have been harder on Colleen, just because I was probably agonizing to work with in the booth, that I wanted everything to be perfect, but no, I don't think it was hard to get to that emotional space because I've lived with Bakugo for so long now. You know, I mean, we were 60 episodes into the show at that point. You know, like I've voiced Bakugo more than just about any other character that I've voiced at this point. You know, so I'm sorry, it's a disappointing answer, but no, it came rather naturally to get to that space. So
Having said that, we did go back like twice to redo scenes that Cliff did not feel were good enough. So Cliff is definitely the actor who wants to redo it and like, please, can I try it out? Like, I think I got something for this. Can I just try this again? Because he wants it to be perfect. So yeah, there was a lot of effort that went into that scene that he is now saying is effortless. Well, I know, I'm with you. But I don't want to negate how much work you did on it. Like, he worked really hard on that scene.
Thank you so much.
My name is Antonio. Let me first say thank you guys so much for being a part of this series that has reignited my love for anime. So my question is to the cast. If you could have one quirk to use in your everyday lives, which one would it be?
This is Eric's favorite question.
I was at SAC Anime last weekend with Eric and Colleen, and we got the question every day we were there. And so every day I said, I'm just going to answer it differently every day. And what I may do is I may really keep a list of every time I answer this question, and then every time I get it, I'll read the list, and it'll be like 10 things, because it's just whatever I think of that moment. So what I came up with there was I wanted to be able to just make pizza whenever I wanted, but only pepperoni pizza, so that I would get sick of pizza at some point, and then that would actually be better for me in the long run, because I'm not eating pizza anymore. But then I can still make pizza for other people, see? So it's like, it's complicated. The second one was a lot dumber. It was, I would like to have kangaroo legs so I could jump real high. That was real stupid. I think today I'm going to come up with it and say, I wish that I could be in like 10 different places at once. Like if there was some way I could have like 10 clones, because I would be at probably like 10 conventions right now. And it'd be fun too if you could also synchronize like the things that all my clones were saying at the same time, so they could all be telling the same story at the same time. That would be cool.
That would be a scheduling nightmare. It would.
I'm so lame with this because I would just want like teleportation or something. Like, 'cause, man, and especially because we do cons and stuff, we have to travel. The travel's the worst part. Like, it's the worst. And if I could just completely bypass that, it'd be great. So.
I'm stealing mine from the show Heroes. I would want the ability to learn anything I saw. I think that would be really cool, like just to be able to like watch TV, like now I know karate, or now I know how to make a food tomato that looks like a rose. Like, I just think that would be a really neat quirk. Yeah.
Big props for the hero.
You are welcome. I'm a nerd.
I feel like mine's a little boring because, and simple. I would want the quirk of flight because I'm afraid of heights, and I feel like if I could fly, I wouldn't be, because they say that if you're afraid of heights, you're really just afraid of falling. So I figured, you know, if I could fly,
You never have to fall.
Exactly. So yeah, flight.
But you could also just teleport to the ground.
Yes, yes. Feel the wind in my hair. Yes.
I've had about 100 answers for this over the past year, but there's one that I keep coming back to, and it's just because of the name. And forgive me if you were in the panel yesterday and heard this one, but I would like the quirk to, I grow my hair out real big, and when I wiggle it, you know, and you see it, then you're under my control, and the name is Aphrodisiac.
I have to
love how much you workshop that one.
I'm also lame with this answer, but I would like the power to know exactly what the right choice to make is in every moment.
Really close to what I was going to say. Mine is luck. I would like the quirk to just have really good luck so that you make the right choice in every circumstance. Like, oh, you know what? I'm going to skip this train. I'll take the next one. That train blows up. I could have chosen the quirk to save those people, but no.
So, everything would be so boring. You'd never go to a casino again. Yeah, I know, but it would really...
I would go to a casino all the time.
It would be so boring. It would reduce anxiety in a big way. Anxiety can be fun. My quirk would be to, the thing that you forgot, that it's now here. Where are my keys? Oh, thank God, my keys. Did I turn off the oven? I did.
Oh God, I forgot to pack underwear.
Here it is. Thank you so much. Hi, your name, your question.
My name is Trinity, and my question is, of all the series you made so far, which one is your favorite and why?
This one!
All the series? Like all the anime?
All the anime you worked on?
Mine is this one too. I mean, I know it's an obvious answer, but it's the truth.
Yeah, I think that's correct. It's a show that I've lived with the longest, and the show that lets me meet all y'all. Yeah.
Mine's not My Hero Academia, I'm sorry guys. I do love the show, but actually my passion project was a show called Magical Girl Raising Project. I read the light novel, and when I found out we were going to be dubbing it, I practically kicked down the door to the supervisor's office, and I was like, you have to let me write the show. I know everything about everything in the show. Please let me write it. And they did. And then I got to audition for the show, and I got to be Tama, who's a magical dog girl, which is like my dream role. So that's my passion project. That's my favorite show ever. It's about magical girls and death. Yeah, it's awesome.
My favorite show is My Hero Academia, but I will say there's a show that I always try to get out there because people haven't heard of it. The very first simuldub that Funimation ever did was a show called Laughing Under the Clouds. See, there's always like 5 people that go, yes! And then the rest of you need to be saying yes. Because that was my first lead, and it's a really good show. So check it out.
My mood of favorites changes based on, you know, how I'm feeling today. And today I would say Case Closed. I miss Case Closed. It was so much fun.
It was so much fun. It was really long, and then we stopped dubbing it, and they kept making it. But the thing was, it's a show that's about kids who solve murders. So, but then the audience, it's hard to hit the right audience because if people wanted it to be for kids, it would go on TV and it's like, oh, kids, I'll watch this. Ah, somebody just got decapitated in the first episode.
Good job. All right, thank you so much for your question. Hi, friend, your name, your question.
My name is Serena, and really quick, I wanted to say thank you to bringing up Attack on Titan and My Hero Academia combined. I was like so happy. My question is to Eric. What is it like to play the struggling yet mysterious villain against all these heroes?
What's it like to be Eric? Yeah. It's not that bad. They all have to compete with their heroics. There's only one of me. You know? And I mean that in an acting sense. Like these guys, like Cliff was saying earlier about, you know, he was thinking about himself versus Justin in the auditioning process, right? Well, I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
So I can just be crazy. You know? It's great. It's easy to be crazy if you're me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Yes, your name, your question.
My name is Leo, and my question is for Colleen. When casting All Might, did Chris Sabat just get the part?
Chris Sabat begged for the part, first of all. And no, also, I don't do that. So he auditioned, and it was down to him and one other person, and he is just so good. I mean, I had the moment of everybody like, I was seeing online a lot of people saying, oh, it's probably going to be Chris Sabat, but he's in everything, and it's going to sound like everything else, but he's so good, and it doesn't sound like everything he ever does, because he's got such a difference between All Might and No Might, and he's so, and it's really, really fun to get to direct Chris in something that he gets emotionally invested in. He's done everything. And he's such a veteran. I mean, we look up to him a lot, and then to get him in the booth and have him like tear up and go, hang on, I need a second, because that was like, and I love that moment. I love making Chris Sabat cry.
Thank you so much. Hi, your name, your question.
Oh, hi, I'm Maria, and I know this isn't like the most exciting question, but this is for Justin. If Deku had to impersonate as Bakugo, what would he do or say?
Do it, nerd.
Shut up, you damn nerd! Nerdiness in 2019 is a commendable trait. However, in this instance, your enthusiasm is disappointing. Nerd.
That's not how I sound.
Alright, I think this is our last question. Your name, no, I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Xavier, and this is a question for Clifford.
Okay.
Can you do your best Deku insult?
I thought this would be an impression.
I was gonna say it was like the return of the impression. Oh man.
Deku, you bastard! Tell me how you did that or you're dead!
Yeah. Lightning round. Lightning round? Alright, go. Question fast.
What was your favorite season to record for?
2.
3. Alright, this is Object After Hours. This is for Justin. Could you please give us a new smash in Deku's voice?
Give an Ontario smash.
Ontario, but not in California? I mean, Canada smash!
What do you think of, like, inverse heroes and villains that people have drawn of your characters?
What's that?
Like inverse, like Deku drawn as a bad guy or Bakugo drawn as a bad guy.
Y'all want Deku to be sad. I don't know why. but y'all dig it.
Yeah, man down, and this for like the class 1A students, Aizawa and Tomura's voice actors. What was your favorite scene in the anime overall involving your character?
I like the one where Aizawa beat the crap out of Dabi. That was really cool. And he like smashed him. That was fun.
Alright. Hi, this is Excel. Nice to meet you. Real quick, as you know, there's a Star Wars theme going on with this whole damn series. Light or dark side of the Force?
Dark.
Half and half.
If you had to pick, oh, I'm Grace. If you had to pick one of your favorite fights from all the seasons, which one would it be?
Sports Festival, Todoroki, and Deku.
Same fight.
So I'm gonna kick it off with Bakugo's the best. I just have to say that. I'm Sierra, and if you could change your quirk, not a lot, but it's still your quirk, what would it be?
Pizza's only pepperoni.
We already did that one. Next.
Hi, I'm Melissa. Is there anything in particular you guys want to see, either character or plot line going forward?
More Nakagame.
She needs some balls.
I would like to see Bakugo to continue to grow and maybe eventually sort of possibly consider having a friend.
Straight answer.
Hello, Patty. Bakugo's the best. Also, what would Bakugo do at Disneyland?
Ride the rides!
I was wondering if everybody could do their character's battle cry, but like have it in mind and then just do it across the board, like starting with Eric Bill and it's from here to there.
Battle cry?
Yeah, like battle cry, like.
Pick somebody.
Okay, yes, just.
Hey, my name is Chris. How many seasons, how many episodes seasons 4?
Those things you're allowed to talk
We have no idea.
We don't know, we don't know.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I was just asking, like, what do you guys think of, like, us, like, cosplaying as their voice?
Who's yes, please.
I love it.
Needs more Bakugo.
Hi there, my name is Andrew, and I just want to say a very big thank you, as this show does inspire me every day, and all of your voices, even when I watch videos over and over and over and over again. Just thank you all very much. This show helps inspire me, and it's a pleasure to be in front of all of you. So thank you.
We love you.
Hi, I'm Cole. Flipper, favorite Bakugo line?
Die!
Hi, I'm Rosa. Eric, how many hands do you have of Shigaraki?
I think it's 12. First of all, Eric Vale is my hero. Second of all,
whoa, that's weird.
Who is Deku's true father?
Would not tell you if I
Deku Senior?
Hi, I'm Charity, and my question is, so do you think that the way that the UA High teachers are like trying to teach the students is something, do you think there's any flaws in that?
No flaws.
There's a leak.
My question is for Eric. So, do you think that my hero will gain the same notoriety of the Dragon Ball as he did worldwide? It will. It has.
Hi, my name
You
is Chanel.
disagree? Maybe, but it was my answer.
Hi, my name is Chanel, and I was wondering what your character's first reaction would be if Toga joined UA High.
Pick somebody and they will answer that question.
I guess Justin?
Come on,
It's
lightning.
okay.
You can do it. Lightning.
I believe in you. You got this.
I'm a Kumadoya.
Yay!
Alright, thank you so much, everybody. If we want to lightning around real quick down the panel, where can people find you for the rest of this weekend?
We don't know, all sorts of places.
Alright, great, check your programs. And
Yeah, check your program.
We're doing a signing in here.
Yeah, we are going to do a signing in 2 minutes. Sorry, 3 p.m.